Recording. Okay, welcome to the after party. Today we're talking to powercosine692. Hello.
Hello.
Hey. Okay. I just spent like 10 minutes trying to coax uh, cosine into coming on the show, and so gave like a very rough explanation of what the show is because it's still a very rough, unexplained show. So what I'm gonna do to start things off is ask you to explain to the audience what is SpyParty.
Well, SpyParty is a game where it's instead of a lot of games now where you just kind of shoot 'em ups and stuff like that. It actually uses like deception, and it's a really good twist on like modern games. It's really fun. You One person's the spy, one person's the sniper. Sniper's got to guess which one's the spy. Really hard, but fun.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's would you describe it as like I don't know what I describe it as. Like if you had to think of a game or thing to analogize it to, can you think of anything? Like Spy Party
Um,
is like Counter-Strike meets The Sims is like a joke saying people have.
um, I don't really know.
Certainly not
It
like
doesn't.
checkers.
What?
I said it's certainly not like checkers.
No,
Although
I don't.
maybe.
I don't really play too many games like this one.
Oh, well, there aren't too many like it. Okay. Um, So, because this is still a very like rough show and we're still figuring out like what is even a good way to interview people who are like basically strangers to me, and vice versa, is we're going to talk about some feature of the game that you think is worth talking about. So, can you think of anything that you want to talk about, like some part of the game, like maybe a particular mission or like a specific role in the game, like the spy or the sniper? Like, is there a topic you want to talk about for the next 20 minutes?
um, I guess the strategy for the sniper. It's it's pretty hard to guess which one's the spy.
Hmm.
I mean, you got to be very observant, and you just very observant. Make sure you gotta watch them. You gotta look at their missions and watch each one very carefully.
Hmm. And
And
and uncertainty too. Like that's something that I think is intimidating for people is being uncertain about what's going on.
oh yeah, definitely being uncertain.
Hmm. Like
Really,
hmm?
yeah, it's definitely uncertainty. It gets you a little nervous. You're just wondering if it's the right person. Just it's really tough to just guessing which is the right person.
Hmm. Well, like for that reason, I think people who like try and mentor people starting out, they like try and start them on Spy because even if you're like running into walls and like not knowing what's going on, you at least have like a set goal and like okay, I've done this many of the missions and I have this long to go. Whereas when you're the sniper and you're starting out, it's just like what the heck is going on? There are a lot of people and I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, yeah. Starting's pretty hard. When I first started, I really didn't know what to do. I just kind of I just it said like control spy. I was a spy when I first played, and it was like hit it. I just stopped moving, and he was just like, and then I moved around, and I was looking very
obvious.
obvious, and I just got sniped in the face in about 4 seconds.
Oh wow. Wait, oh wow. So when you started playing, you were playing with someone with a lot of games, or you were playing with like a friend who hadn't played before?
I just play with random people.
Oh, okay. So it's got like a little counter that shows how many games they'd played. The first person you played, like, can you remember how much they played?
I think they're the first person I played with.
Because I saw your counter, it showed like 2 wins. So I'm assuming you'd played like one other person before me, or like a couple.
Yeah, I think I played with this one person the first time I ever played. He just, after one game, he just left. I can't really remember who he left. But the next person, I played quite a few games with him. He was pretty skilled, to say the least. He could really pinpoint what I was doing wrong. Even stuff that I didn't think was suspicious. All of a sudden, I just get sniped, and
Hmm. Well,
apparently I was looked like talking at a wrong point or
hmm.
doing something like that. Was
Well, that's what I think is intimidating for a lot of people when they're starting out as sniper is there's so many things that can be tells, um, and you're just snowed under with information.
yeah, it's it's really intimidating. Yeah, as you said, I don't really know how to explain it.
Hmm. Yeah, no, like I get what you mean. It's a feeling you don't normally get, and so it's kind of hard to put into words. But I think we all know the idea you're describing of like having a lot of stuff that you have to internalize and in a time limit as well. And I think that's one of the things that is especially tricky for people. Like, there's this thing where when you're starting to learn something, dealing with time pressure like does not help in taking into information.
Oh yeah,
Hmm. As
I
anyone
s-
who's taken an exam would know. Although wait, that's probably
yeah.
that's probably a bad example because that's not learning new information; it's applying the bad example. Anyway, learning things under time pressure is hard. Um, But also, you came in just as this new art build has dropped. Am I right? Or have you played before?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. So you were playing
right.
mostly with the new character art?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because that's something that I don't think anyone still has a clear grasp on. Is like that's a sort of question we've had, which is when the new art characters come in, who is it going to favor? Is it going to be easier for the spy or is it going to be easier for the sniper? And I think one of the things you were talking about, which is a challenge for people who are starting out as sniper, is now there's just a lot of different animations to look at, and it can be confusing. Did did you find that, or is it easy enough for you to uh, keep track of all the fancy new art people?
Uh, I have to admit, I personally think the hardest role is the sniper, especially on the new art, because it's just really hard to, detail certain things because they're all, they do different motions. That's hard to tell if that's a spy's motion or just a
Hmm.
normal person.
Well, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's and even beyond the spy missions, just stuff like there are a couple missions that rely on talking, on like whether a person is talking at a particular point, like contact the double agent, is like, well, someone in this conversation circle had to be talking when this happened. Now there's a new challenge, which is everyone's talk animation is different, and everyone's idle animation is different. They're like not talking animation. And so at a glance, you have to spend more attention to tell who's talking.
Yeah, I agree with you. You really have to pay attention to how they behave, talk, move, act. The new art, I did play some of the old art, and
Do you like the
I
the,
don't.
the old
I
art?
mean, the art has its hardships. I can't really tell which one's harder.
Hmm,
To be
that's
quite
interesting.
honest, they're both really hard,
Hmm,
but I think the new art might be a little hard.
hmm. Like it more difficult for someone starting out, do you think?
Well, I think the new art's easier for the spy, but not for the sniper.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's a fair point because a lot of the sort of, I guess, I don't know what the right word is, like triggers that you're looking for, like, oh, when's my character in their uh, like rest pose so that I can leave the conversation without looking looking more suspicious. Stuff like that is still basically the same for the spy to keep track of. Whereas, is this person talking or not for the sniper is like it's harder to see at a glance. You know the cane guy, the guy with the cane and the goatee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
His idle animation looks a lot like a talk animation because he'll like nod his head and sort of gesture with his arms in this way that looks a lot like the way he talks. And it keeps throwing me off. I keep like looking over at him and going, "Is he talking? I can't tell."
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So that problem that you're talking about, that it's like it's hard to get a read on these new art characters. That's one of the sort of main challenges as the sniper role is you can only look at so many things at once, and you have to manage that resource. Like your attention, your ability to filter what everyone's doing is a limited resource. Um, so I'm like trying to think how to phrase this into a question. Like, um, do you find that something that's like interesting to you? Like, as someone starting out who's like, what the heck is this game? Like, does that sort of idea of managing your own attention uh, do you think that that's something that will like interest you for a while, or do you kind of feel like you don't enjoy that part of the game as much as like deceiving another person and getting away with stuff? Like,
I think it's pretty interesting. I'm sorry, were you talking?
uh, no, I'm like just trying to think how to phrase that into a question. Like, do you find the like challenge of the sniper? It's certainly harder for people starting out. Do you find it as interesting as the like challenge of being a spy, which is like making plans and tricking people?
Yeah, the sniper's got a pretty difficult job, but I don't know. The spy, it's just the feeling that you think you're doing something really obvious, and you think the sniper's just gonna just get you because you think you're doing something way obvious.
Hmm.
You're not thinking that he's human too. He might not see it. He thinks like a bot that sees everything, noticing every movement.
Hmm. Yeah, it
Like
certainly
that.
yeah it gives it a softening effect. It's not like I don't know when you play some game where um you're trying to like hide something and whether it's hidden or not is very clear cut. And so when you don't get away with it, it kind of feels like I don't know like it feels unsympathetic because it's just I saw you, you're dead. Whereas here it's like you know that the person can like not trust themselves. And so they'll be like, well, I thought I saw that thing, but I don't know. How um, do I feel like when people start out, they second guess themselves a lot, or like maybe that's not even the right choice of words. They like snipers when they start out uh, don't trust themselves to make a shot. Do you find that, or are you like, no, I think it's this person, and I'm gonna make that decision?
I agree. I've had that happen a lot. I have my sniper scope on someone, safety's off, and I'm second guessing myself. It's really hard for me to take the shot because I feel like I'm gonna get it wrong, and it was really obvious that I missed it. Or this guy's obviously not the person, or I don't know. I think it's hard to for the sniper,
Mm.
like second guessing himself.
Yeah, it's scary because you don't want to be wrong. Like fear of being wrong uh, is like it's like a strong fear that I think plays into both roles. Like as spy, have you found that where uh, when you're like in a position to do a mission, you're like not sure if the spy is looking. Sorry, if the sniper's looking, and so you're like afraid of being wrong, uh, and that they were looking, and that you're going to totally give yourself away. Um, like, has that happened to you? The lightning
Uh,
bolts of
not
being
so
afraid.
much with missions, but it's more with checking the clock to add time. I'm really
Ah,
worried that the guy's looking at me when I'm trying to check my watch to add more time.
well,
That's where that thing really gets
mm.
me.
Well, I had that happen as well. During that match we were playing, I was running out of time and had to add time, and no one else was at the window, and I was really scared that you were going to see it. Um, so yeah, it plays into both. So and that sort of it becomes this weird cycle of empathy where the sniper's nervous about missing something, and the spy's nervous about the sniper not missing something. And then the spy realizes, wait, the sniper's nervous about not seeing things, so they're going to make mistakes too. And like I don't know if it like is much of a cushioning effect, but it I know it helps me calm down sometimes to go, oh yeah, the sniper probably won't see it or like might not see this, and so it's okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree. It like if you're the spy and you just see the red dot sight on you and you're afraid to make a move because if you do anything, he's just gonna shoot you.
Hmm.
It's nice to think about that. He's also another person behind his keyboard. He might be making a mistake.
Hmm. Or blinking.
Yeah, yeah, or
That's something the
yeah,
computer doesn't do. That the computer doesn't blink.
sure.
Yeah, no, I was playing someone just the other day, starting out, and they didn't want to give away that they were looking at the party, and so they'd have their laser, the center of their screen, aimed at the corner, but that meant that what was on their screen was like a quarter, like the room only made up like a quarter of the screen, and the rest was like blank. So they sacrificed like all this visibility for the spy can't see where my laser is, um, which is probably like going too far the other way. Like the spy knows that you're going to be looking somewhere, and it's like not worth it to give up that much of the room. So that's also one of the skills that I think sniper play you have to build up is being aware of what you can't see. And there's this challenge where like when you start out thinking about like bug the ambassador, you might think about okay, I can see that this person isn't bugging the ambassador when they're next to them. But then eventually it moves to stuff like okay, I know that the ambassador is out of my field of view, and so I know that they're and so I know that the spy knows that I can't see it, and so that's a danger. Like, have you like does that make sense to you? The idea of like being aware of the stuff that you can't see. Like, do you find it like your where you're at with the sniper now that sort of idea makes sense and is interesting?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, you know, it's hard for me to say. It's like saying words.
Words are hard.
Yes,
Words are hard, and so is sniper.
yes. Sniper. It's really like worrying where you're like you're looking and the spies got advantages as well as the sniper. I mean, but they each have disadvantages too. And one of the worst part about being the spy is, I think we said this, but the nervousness of doing something out of the ordinary. I know I have sat there as the time ran down, and because I was afraid to make a move,
Hmm.
because I felt like the sniper was going to shoot me.
Yeah, well, like as the timer draws nearer, you feel like anything you do is going to be more obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like once the time starts going down from 30, the sniper really starts looking for someone who's either checking their watch or frantically doing missions.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they really like looking for someone. They really they really start focusing on their main suspects and like watching them just so carefully that you feel like you can't really do anything because the sniper's like has his he's going between around like three people, and if he's right, if he suspected you, you're one of them, and you're afraid to make a move. You can't like afraid to check your watch or do anything like that. I know I checked my watch when we were playing, and that was my demise.
Yeah, it's I I know what you mean. It's the intimidation of knowing that the snipers had time to think about all the stuff that's happened, and so you feel like they have more certainty, and so anything I do now is going to be more dangerous than if I'd done it earlier.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Once that clock hits 30, it
Yeah,
definitely,
once it starts beeping, the spy
yeah,
feels under pressure.
oh yeah.
Hmm. But then that that's an interesting sort of challenge, I think, for both roles, for spy and sniper, is um, if the spy does something that the sniper suspects early in the game, that's like gives a big boon to the sniper, because they can stew on that for the rest of the match. They can come back to that person and judge what they've been doing. Whereas if you do something late in the game and the sniper thinks it's suspicious, they don't have much time to stew on it, so you're probably okay.
Yeah,
Hmm. Like I,
I,
yeah, go
um,
words,
yeah, words, words.
words, words. What a
I
word.
was lucky when I played with the first match with this random person. We didn't really talk that much. Of course, I didn't even know how to really type, so I couldn't really talk to
Yeah.
him
Did
anyway.
did you figure it out?
Yes, the next person I went in lobby, he started typing, and I was like, I don't know how to type. And then he said, hit T to type, and I was able to, start typing.
Mm. You can also hit enter. That will do it as
Oh,
well.
enter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I learned a few tricks from him. I learned that the word banana bread, you should mark off anybody not in conversation.
Mm.
And he taught me a few nice tricks.
Did it take a while to figure out all the different stuff that happens with the action tests? Because that I find is like a challenge for new people is um, okay, like for banana bread, anyone who's talking when the word goes off is the spy. And it's like, okay, cool. Oh, except if they hit a red action test and then blah blah, blah, and if they hit a white action test, blah blah blah. Like, did that take a while to get all the like different stuff that happens if you hit the action test?
Yes, that I'm not even sure if I still fully understand
Yeah.
it, but
Okay. Well, so with Contact Double Agent, so for people who have no idea what we're talking about, there's a mission that involves banana bread. So a bunch of people are standing in a conversation, and the spy can choose to contact the double agent, and that means they'll say the code word banana bread. So if they do it normally, then they talk while that's happening, and so the sniper might like mark people who are in the middle of talking. If they hit a green action test, which is this little sliding meter, they can like opt in to try and hit this little uh, this little thing on a slider to get a like better, more subtle tell. Then they won't even animate when they say banana bread, and then the sniper's really worried. Um, and if they hit it red, then they cough, and that has a little animation attached to it. That's something strange in the new art. It's currently a very small animation, so I don't know. Like, did we ever have a red banana bread? I don't know if we did. Like, can you remember seeing one? I can't.
no, I don't think so.
No, okay. But yeah, it's like a really small. It's like um, so it's like there for a second. Whereas in the old art, if you hit a red banana bread, it's like, oh, you can really see it. Um, but yeah, it like it takes a long time for to explain all that stuff to people, and I think that maybe contributes to the problem with what you were saying. It's hard starting out a sniper because you have to remember all of that. Like, if you're the spy, you can just go, I'll only learn a few of these missions and I'm okay. But if you're the sniper starting out, it's like you feel like you have to remember everything.
Yeah,
Mm. Um,
it's really it's really bad. When I mentioned the second person I played with was really skilled,
mm.
and it was nice. He taught me a few tricks, but he was really good at the game. I I, I can't stress that enough.
uh, c-
He
can you remember who it was?
uh like his name.
Yeah.
Um, what was his name? It was, darn it.
It should say in the replay directory if you want to look over that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we were saying just now, where when you're the sniper starting out, it's intimidating because you have to remember all these missions. That's something that I think people are starting to figure out is if you're a more experienced player playing with a newer player, you'd think, okay, if I'm the spy, I'm going to do known 7 or known 8, and that's going to be balanced because it's going to be really hard. But the problem there is for a new sniper, that's a lot of stuff that they have to remember. Whereas if you do like known 5 or known 6, it's like it's easier for them to get a grasp because they don't have to read as much stuff all at once. So I tried that. I don't know if that helped
Hmm.
doing that instead of like known 7 or 8. But that's what I was trying when we were playing. So but I don't know if it felt fair. I don't think it did.
Have you ever had a situation where you were like when you started out, where you were very underskilled and there was a person very skilled, or did you start out when the game was first introduced?
I started a fair while ago, but no, I went through the same thing where I'd play people. I mean, I still have that happen where I play people who've played much more than me, and it's very intimidating. And you lose a lot. And what I find is this is perhaps just my personality, but I kind of find losing to better people a valuable experience. Um, just because it sort of helps you get over yourself. Because that's one of the things I think that's very important in Spy Party is empathy and like learning what other people understand and understanding that even though you think you know a lot, there are other people who know more than you. Um, so that whenever I have games where I just get like destroyed by somebody, I think, okay, this person understands a lot more than me, and like I'll admit it's like um, it's painful at times. It's like really takes down your ego when you're just losing all the time. But I know I think it's a valuable experience. Um,
Yeah.
so hopefully uh, we won't deflate your ego too much during your early days. But it happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Mm. So, yeah,
Right.
I know like I that probably doesn't sound very conciliatory to say, well, you're gonna get demolished for a long time, but we're here for you.
Yeah. Just deal with it for a little bit.
Hmm. We all get destroyed by KCM. Um, so, is there anything you can think you want to talk about in relation to the sniper?
Sniper. Uh, I don't. Oh, sniper. He has.
It's hard to think about things
He's
to
he's a
say.
he has a really tough position. I guess
Mm.
is the word for it.
Yeah, yeah.
He he's. I mean, if you're really good at the game, he's really easy to play, especially if you're playing with a beginner.
Hmm. Well,
Because
yeah, I think you're more at ease. Like
yeah,
you feel comfortable with where you're at because it's familiar. Whereas where you're starting out, it's unfamiliar, and so it's uncomfortable. Yeah, cool.
do you
All
have
right.
anything? Any
Um,
tips for the sniper?
tips for the sniper. I would say, uh, how do you memorize the statues? What do you call them in your head?
Um,
Because
me, I don't. I don't know. I just
yeah, people tend to use naming conventions to help them remember which statues are which. So they'll call like the small one head or one. So it'll go like there's a small head one, there's the middle-sized one, and then there's the tall one, the falcon. So they'll either call them like Falcon Head Venus, or they'll call them 1, 2, 3. Just any like little naming conventions to help memorize it, so that at the start of the game, you can go, okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, and the sniper will just like keep looking over that at the beginning and repeat it in their head, like to help them remember it. Um, so so think of some naming system for the statues that you can just say to yourself to help you remember it, and make sure you do that at the beginning, because if the spy rushes the statues and you didn't memorize them, and you start memorizing the statues, you won't know that the statues changed because you haven't memorized it yet. So
Yeah.
that's a
Something about the statues. When
mm,
I was a spy, like this is like the first time I was ever a spy. Well, maybe not the first, the second. I was the spy, and I was like swap the statues.
mm,
And I was like, okay. So I went and I scrolled down. I was like, oh, swap statues. I clicked the button, and if you know if you play the game, like the statue turns green,
yeah.
like for the spy. I actually thought it turned green for the sniper too, and I was like,
Oh
"Oh
yeah,
crap!
totally.
He's gonna
Everyone
shoot
thinks
me!
that.
He's gonna shoot!"
It's like,
But,
why would the statue turn bright green?
yeah,
Why did I bring a bright green statue with me? This is a horrible idea.
yeah. But like, I eventually saw someone swapping the statues, and I saw that it didn't turn green for me as a sniper, and I was like, "Oh, okay,
Phew.
that's great."
That would be a ridiculous handicapping option. On the sniper screen, the statues turn bright green.
That one sucked.
Hey, it's a challenge. Anyone's up for it?
It made inspecting and swapping statues really tough
Yeah. No,
and
I I'd forgotten about that. That you don't think that what you see on your screen is different from what the other person sees. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you
yeah.
very much, powercosine692, for taking the time out to talk to me. I'm I'm impressed you were brave enough to do so, considering we only just played one match, and this podcast is still a very like rough thing. So kudos to you for taking the plunge. So yeah, we'll stop recording this and then